Hey y'all, the heater's on, it's not going anywhere, so I'm using the mic. Hopefully that'll be better. You know, nothing but teeth, alright. Um, so if you were alive yesterday, you know a lot of shit went down. And, there, we can call it a coup, we can call it a riot, we can call it an invasion, we can call it a lot of things. What I'm going to say is domestic terrorists invaded the Capitol building. Um, and at the end of the day, 4 were killed. Something else also happened yesterday. Georgia, a longtime Republican state, not only flipped blue for the president, but also flipped blue for the Senate. And I'm sure they come for that governor spot after that. Shout out to Stacey Abrams and everybody else who helped with voter registration so the real Georgia voters could come out. Also, on a personal note, my mediation was yesterday because mediation is required when the petitioner is denied. And I'm still very exhausted from the events of yesterday. Yesterday was such an emotional and mental roller coaster. I know I'm not physically tired, but I still don't feel like going outside because yesterday was on some shit. Let's say it for what it is. White men took over the Capitol building, and if a part of me is like, if we pay taxes for it, we should be able to party in it. I saw that guy with his feet kicked up on Nancy Pelosi's desk, and I'm like, I ain't mad. This dude's living his best life. Who am I to judge? Because there are a lot of people that feel like our so-called democracy is a farce, always has been a farce. And some people pointed out yesterday that democracy is fragile. I do believe it was Joe Biden who said that in his speech. And democracy is fragile because it's meant to be short-term. We're not supposed to stay in democracy. For a society to be functional, it seems to be better operated when there are set groups of leaders. Because a population getting to change its mind about the direction that it wants to go in makes it not go anywhere. And this democracy that we're so proud of is what is failing us and what is keeping us from making proper progress. Because apparently we can just vote in Nazis. I'm sorry, businessmen. White businessmen, to be more specific. There's also that woman that was killed. As far as I know, there are no details. They don't know if she was a rioter, if she was, or a part of the insurgency or insurrection, whatever you want to call it. They don't know if she was a staffer. They don't know who she is. And they don't know under which the circumstances that she was shot. There were also 3 other people killed. We don't know the circumstances in which they were killed either. All we know is at the end of the day, the first person that we heard about was this unnamed, completely unidentified woman. And then at the end of the day, like the middle of the day, we found out she died. And then the end of the day, we found out 3 other people were shot. That's all we know right now. And a part of my fears was there also any violence in Georgia? Because the problem with focusing on one area like this is that other things get overshadowed. And I think it was also yesterday that the news came out that they weren't going to move forward with prosecuting the police officer that shot Jacob Blake 7 times in the back. I just, there are a lot of things to say. There are a lot of ways to describe it. No matter who you are, if you live here, you know how we got here. We might all have different opinions on how we got here. Some people want to shout fake news, and I did see that. That's a real thing. Some people are like, yeah, of course this happened because it was the president incited this. It's been fed at least since 2015 when he first started campaigning, because he won 2016. So we can't blame it all on 2016. And it comes from people who already thought that way, that now had a leader. So it's long before that too. There are no new problems going on here. And to see things come to a head the way that they have is especially traumatic, to say the least. This has just been an unprecedented time in our lives, where there were a lot of people who wanted somebody who knows business and wanted to put a businessman in the White House, been wanting a businessman in the White House for years. Well, now look at us. This is what you wanted, this is what you got. And there are some people that wanted to see America fall from the inside. Here we are. This is what you got. Because I don't think Biden's going to be able to turn this back. As I just mentioned, I also saw Mitt Romney's speech. You know, during Obama's time, he was Mitt the Muppet. Now he's Mitt the last real Republican. And even though I'll never see things on the Republicans' side, as long as they still represent who they are, and I'm talking about actual Republicans, not Trump supporters, or whatever the fuck they're calling themselves in House and Senate that keep backing him up. I'm talking about real actual Republicans, people that believe in economic decisions based on what I know about the Republican Party while I was growing up. Real Republicans aren't racist. Real Republicans aren't misogynistic. Real Republicans believe in what I'm going to call individual economic responsibility. Real Republicans aren't shouting outside of abortion clinics, yelling at women in unfortunate circumstances, some not so in unfortunate circumstances, some going in for their medical exams. But to be out there thinking that you're better than someone else, to yell at them like that, and a lot of times a week later bringing in your daughter for an unfortunate procedure, because abortion is unfortunate. Nobody grows up aspiring to have an abortion. Those aren't Republicans. Republicans don't oppose health care. Republicans, Democrats, and any other political party want what's best for all of us, and we all have different ideas and different opinions of what that is. But any hot-blooded American believes that no one should die because they can't get medical treatment, because they can't afford it. No one believes that people should starve because they can't afford a basic need like food. No real American believes that. It is un-American. It's totalitarian. America is not supposed to be a totalitarian state. But, you know, we voted this motherfucker in. But now we voted this motherfucker out. And now he's called up his gang members, his posse, his whatever you want to call them, to come take people out. Because the plan was also to kill some people. And some people did die, but probably not who they were looking for. Because I saw that makeshift hanging saloon they made. And it's absolute white privilege and white supremacy and white nationalism as to why they got to walk away with 4 people dead. And one of their previous protests, 4 people stabbed. But we noble few Black Lives Matter protesters got all kinds of mace, tear gas. When they, not just Black Lives Matter, but also Line 3 protesters, people getting mass arrested, all the shit to save our planet and to defend the lives of already heavily marginalized people, Black, disabled, indigenous, all that. We get the fucking business. We get the riot gear. We get the billy clubs. We get all that shit. But them, they got to walk away and go back to wherever they came from. They didn't necessarily have to go home, but they had to get the fuck up out of there, and they're probably still crawling around DC because they didn't make them leave. And only 15 of them got arrested, as far as we know as of yesterday. I didn't look today because I don't want to look. It's fucking exhausting. I watched some of the speeches today in reaction. Mitch McConnell's speech, still preaching that us versus them rhetoric. I heard Ted Cruz's speech was still pushing that us versus them rhetoric. Nobody trying to hear that shit. We America. This is America. We Americans. There ain't supposed to be no us versus them. And you still pushing that rhetoric is what's going to keep them around. That's how we got here. Mitt Romney, impeccable speech. Joe Biden. What I would expect from Joe Biden. He didn't have to say anything. It was very performative. But he said what he said. It's not that I disagree. I just think it was bland. But we're not going to go anywhere if we don't call out white supremacy. We're not going to get anywhere if we don't call out white nationalism. We're not going to get anywhere if we don't call these people what they are. Domestic terrorists, thugs. And investigate and question why the police were so lax with them when we know what they're capable of because of everything they've done to us for people fighting for their fucking lives. And this video is, I'm going on 12 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and cut this off. But I think I got the point across. Thank you for watching. Take care.